We're back.
We're back.
Happy post-holidays, right?
Happy 2019.
Yes, 2019, a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you're our first musician in here this year.
Nicholas Edward Williams.
Nice to be here.
Looking forward to hearing your story and hearing some music.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Did you have a good holiday?
Lots of bad, good stuff. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, same here, definitely. A lot of family time and a lot of eating and a lot of drinking.
Right. Yes.
Pretty much sums it up.
I'm actually on a 90-day detox.
Oh, nice.
So my apologies for people who encounter me during this time.
I'm about to do a juice cleanse in a couple days.
Yeah.
For 3 days.
It's
I've never
good.
done one before.
We're all in similar boats then.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you going vegan again?
No,
No?
just gonna have to give up the dickle for a little while.
Right.
I like it too much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's like lift this up.
All right, let's play some music. What are you gonna do?
This is a song called Mississippi John, which is kind of an homage to one of my favorite singer-songwriters and guitarists, Mississippi John Hurt. Mississippi John, song still playing even when you're good and gone. Front porch picking under that southern sun. Just let it roll, mama, I'm feeling fine and young. Playing one called Staggerly, and them blues never pulled a tear out of me. In Appalachia, I'm with the Delta field. Just make a word man sing like a salty dog in heat. Now Mississippi John, song still playing even when you're good and gone. Song front porch picking under that southern sun. Oh, you let it roll, mama, I'm feeling fine and young. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Boogie woogie came, baby, long before rock and roll. The boy John Henry, the hard-working soul, the hammer in hand when he died and passed on. Now Mississippi John, song still playing even when you're good and gone. The front porch picking under that southern sun. Oh, you let it roll, mama, I'm feeling fine and young. Let it roll, mama, I'm feeling fine and young. Let it roll, mama, I'm feeling fine and young.
Very nice.
Cool.
Thank you.
Feeling fine and young. That's how we'll all feel after we do our cleanses,
Let's
right?
hope. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself. You're new to Chattanooga, right?
Yeah,
You're
I just
still in
moved here in October.
Really? From where?
So I've been traveling full-time touring in a Sprinter van with my wife for the last
Sprinter
3
van.
years.
Very cool.
Yes, that we kind of built out on our own, and we're living in that for 3 years. And before that, I lived in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh.
But I actually started playing music in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I spent most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How's the van thing working out? I watched way too much YouTube videos. That's one of the things.
You do?
Oh, I love it.
It definitely has its ups and its downs. It's a trend now, so it's kind of tricky where sometimes I get annoyed when I see social media posts of people like living this glamorous lifestyle in a van. And it can be, of course, like you get to park in these beautiful places. If you go, like we especially set out to be in BLM land or national forest or national parks.
Awesome.
And we have solar panels, so we can be off the grid for a little bit. And the more that you do that, I mean, it's definitely really, really beneficial for your life. But I think the favorite thing that I think about it is that you don't need things. You figure out exactly what you need and what you don't need.
Minimize
everything. You simplify your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, and I don't want to labor it, but did you do it for the music so that you could be mobile and tour and just play wherever?
I was doing it for a couple years before the van in a Honda Element by myself. And not very well. I was just kind of spooning all of my gear at night, and it was just a mess. And then my wife came along and kind of gave it a bit more organization. And we put a platform in there and kind of stowed a kitchen underneath in the back. And that worked for a little while, but just like the process of moving all the things from the back to the front every night to go to sleep, and
It's like Bonnaroo for me.
right. It's like a lifelong festival.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good
and
way
standing up was not really an option, so unless if you were outside. So if it was raining, you were just kind of stuck. And in the Sprinter van, we can stand up and move around, do yoga if we need to, or whatever it is.
So why here?
So we thought, obviously, we're traveling around. We were looking at places to potentially move to, and we thought about Oregon for a long time. We thought about California, and I have a lot of family out there, and I actually grew up originally out there. Another long story. And then we thought about Asheville. We got married in Black Mountain outside of Asheville, and we thought about that for a long time. Cool. But it's just too blown up now, and there's a lot of people there. Love the town, love the surrounding area, but we came through Chattanooga a couple times, and there was something here that we were really interested in. My wife had come here for climbing several times, and it was just like there was some kind of new energy happening here. And as a jumping point for touring, it's perfect for me because I have a big market in Florida and in the Midwest, and East Coast is not too far, and we're near a bunch of big cities. And we love being outdoors, and we love all the independent businesses and all this really cool structure that's happening in the city with young creative minds. So it just seemed to make sense. So we're pretty much set. I mean, we've only been here for 3 months, and we're looking for property now. So
cool.
Well, I told you before we went on camera that we would try to talk very little, but we might go down the rabbit hole. So
we just did a little rabbit
Sprinter van. There went the rabbit hole.
It was interesting, though.
It is, and it leads into right.
It would be not good if it was not interesting.
Right.
The whole history,
That happens sometimes.
We might head back down that rabbit hole in a minute. Please play something.
Sure. This is speaking of my wife. This is a song about trying to keep her happy, and the theme here is if you have a happy wife, then you have a happy life. So this is called, it's very difficult, but I think I do a pretty good job most of the time. So this is called Happy Life. It takes a lifetime, you figure out the means to keep your love wild and alive. So it seems there's a few golden rules that God's bestowed upon us, engraved in the part of your brain where feelings come from. What's mine is yours, what's yours is yours. Good friends will tell you you've only got one chore. And if you have a happy wife, and you've got a happy life, don't forget it, you won't regret it, then you burn like the hellfire. take the time now for your lover's needs. You're sleeping on the couch tonight, Lord, you're counting sheep. But there's a handbook you can reference to, and every man knows it, he just forgets what to do. There's a few golden rules that God's bestowed upon us. It's engraved in the part of your brain where feelings come from. And what's mine is yours, what's yours is yours. Good friends will tell you you've only got one chore. And if you have a happy wife, then you've got a happy life. And don't forget it, you regret it, then you burn like the hellfire. Now don't forget it, you regret it, then you burn like the hellfire. Just don't forget it, or else you regret it, and then you burn like the hellfire.
Nice.
Good message.
That's a good message.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
So
Yeah.
where can people hear you around here? Have you been playing a lot?
I've been playing a couple gigs here and there. I just played at Mad Priest
That's cool.
last month, and they just started doing music at their new location.
Yeah, on Cherry Street. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I've been playing. Let's see, I played at Brew House before. Coming up though, I'm doing the Camp House Songwriter Series thing on January 17th, and then I'm playing at Wonderlinger.
We did a story there too, behind the Moxie. It's
Yeah.
a cool spot.
I think it's in February. I can't remember. If you look up Nicholas Edward Williams on Facebook, I'm gonna post all the upcoming dates probably today, actually.
Very cool.
The move here, is it to settle down and do less traveling, or is it just to give a home base, or just it was time to?
Yeah, a little bit of both of those. The pace we were going was kind of not sustainable. I was touring like 10 to 11 months out of the year, and the other month was kind of interspersed between families. And my wife has like a crazy amount of different skill sets that she's kind of put on hold while we've been traveling. We did, she's a forest kindergarten teacher, and we did some camps up in upstate New York, both last summer, and we'll do it again this summer. And that's kind of been
What kind of kindergarten teacher?
forest kindergarten. So she takes kids into the forest, and
What I
it's
thought you
all
said.
forest play based. It's no classrooms.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
There's 2 schools like that here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
that's cool.
yeah.
We should do a story about that.
Yeah, you should. So yeah, it's for both that reason. That unsustainable pace needed to stop at some point, and I really wanted, it's really nice to go to the van after a show, but it would be really nice to be able to go to another home that's not the van sometimes, because it still feels like because it's so mobile and on the move all the
You're
time.
just in it 2 hours ago.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because we've done this now for 3 years, so you had so many different
3
musicians
years. It's crazy.
going on. I know, and the different routes, pardon the pun, or the different ways that people can pursue a career.
Yeah,
with the internet and technology and all, there seem to be fewer and fewer.
it's true.
Yeah, what do you think helps the most, like, get gigs? Is it, like, networking, like the maintaining all these relationships around the country, or?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think there's a savviness that anybody can have these days, though, if you really are interested in making your music your career. The internet has been, godsend for me, because I've been doing this professionally for 11 years, and over that time I've kind of like come along with the times and learned how things worked. And it's a full-time job, so I'm constantly looking for opportunities or making connections to find other gigs and to continue to do this full-time. And I think the biggest thing is traveling, getting out there. You pay for your first couple tours, you're not going to make money. And if you know that, then you just kind of put in your time, you make connections, you meet people, you have experiences. That's the important thing. And I think there's also just this other level of how far do you want to take it? How much work do you want to do on the internet? Do you want to like be perusing websites for hours upon hours in one city, trying to find all these contacts and sending a crazy amount of emails with no responses? just
Yeah.
about your persistence.
It's like gambling, though, right? I mean,
Right.
you never know that one show with that
never
one
know.
guy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
Blow it up.
And that happens a lot, you know, if you're open to it, which I think if you're traveling in general, if you're not open to what is coming your way, then you're missing a lot of what's happening. And just being open is a huge doorway to not only other musicians, but also, people that come to your shows. And the amount of people I've gotten to meet and then play a house show with, or they know a venue that I don't know about, like that just happened last week where I got this awesome show potentially in Virginia now. Mm-hmm. So it's just, you do have to there's a certain level of openness, but then really the drive and the persistence is, I think, the only thing that'll keep you going.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, well, let's hear another one.
Yeah, let's hear another one.
A couple more through before we're done.
So this is last year I kind of hit a wall personally where I realized that I was playing shows for the wrong reasons and I was playing music for the wrong reasons. Where I was
for money?
Well, not that's a part of it, of course, but it was more of like my happiness was based on the audience outcome, and if they were really if they were applauding in the right way, or if they were listening, if they were paying attention, and if I got this certain amount of praise, then I was happy. And when I realized that happened, I'm canceling 2 months of tour and going on a sabbatical for a while. And so this song is kind of like my reframe for everything of, it's really hard as a musician because you get adoration and you get these compliments. And if you let it get to your head,
It's comfortable.
Yeah. And more importantly, if you let the ego kind of like take over, then you slide down the same path that I did. So this is called The Writers of Songs. So many folks don't know Nashville isn't music road anymore. They're all hung up on one hit song just to fit the mold and then fall off. I can laugh a little bit thinking I used to think like this. I rely on a richness of wealth, strictly in and of life itself. I'm living without complaints most days, not admiring how much I get paid, in development of kindness always. It to myself and all others along my way. A million streams, a million plays, it's all just a fancy way to demonstrate and to complicate some temporary praise. But how hard we fall for your applause, it seems the writers of songs are to blame. How does it happen to be that musically we set out to be free, when eventually we will receive what becomes our highest need? A million streams, a million plays was all just a fancy way to demonstrate and to complicate some temporary praise. But how hard we fall for your applause. It seems the writers of songs are to blame.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where in the healing process, I
Right.
guess, did you write that? Beginning, middle, end of
End.
the 2
At
months?
the-
It was somewhere in the middle.
Oh, in the middle.
The first couple months, I ended up going to Costa Rica for 7 months and working down there.
Nice.
And the first couple months, I didn't really play any music.
Oh.
And then, which was, I never not played my guitar for more than a couple weeks. So that was a breath of fresh air because I approached it with a different perspective. And then I spent a lot of time learning songs that I'd want to learn for a long time. And then I was giving lessons down there as well, guitar lessons. So that was a really nice breath of fresh air, something I do in my off time. And everything just started kind of changing where I was playing for fun again. I was playing the guitar because I love playing guitar, and then I started learning a different style, and then this thumb pick came along, and everything changed after that. So, yeah, that was more in the I guess the middle, you could say, probably, that I wrote that.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
So, see, we need a cleanse every now and then.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
So,
true.
who are some of your musical inspirations?
So for a long time, Paul Simon, Bob Dylan, Neil Young. More recently, Doc Watson, Mississippi John Hurt. Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger. Those guys have been around too for me for a little while. Van Morrison, and Ray Lamont. Like of more recent people, Ray LaMontagne is up there, and then Coulter Wall, and it's kind of most of the stuff I listen to is like predates 1980, and a lot of the stuff that I'm learning. I was doing a series for a while called Folk and Eight Tuesdays, where I was learning the history of songs, folk songs, especially from before 1900s or early 1900s, and just kind of taking a big step back in history and trying to understand where our music comes from. And that afforded me a lot of different artists and genres that I really never would have found without it. So like ragtime and old blues and Piedmont blues and country blues. So
You finding they're more alike than different?
I think there's a lot of similarities. I think it's strange. You can play, the same three chords so many different ways. And that just defines genres now if you really break it all down.
Right.
The way you play a C to a G to a D in country is totally different than you would in pop music or in folk music, or blues music even, So I think there's a lot of similarities in ways that you can bridge the gap, which is something I like to do. Like I think the style that I'm coming up with for these new songs is kind of bridging the gap between there's some folk and there's some blues and there's some country, and it's kind of just trying to figure out how they all work together. And when I had that realization, I had been performing under a moniker called Weatherman, WHETHERMAN, for 11 years, and recorded 8 albums and put that out. And then this stuff that I'm playing today is all new stuff that I haven't recorded yet, that I'm planning to release later this year. So this is kind of a new project.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
All right. Nicholas Edward Williams.
Spelled like you'd think it would be spelled?
Yes.
Okay.
Luckily, I can say that now.
Okay.
Welcome to Chattanooga.
Thank you.
Look
Yeah.
forward to hearing more. Then you're going to play us out, right? Play
Yeah,
another
play
one?
that, sure. I'm going to do a song called You're Not Your Khakis.
Oh.
This inspiration came from the movie Fight Club.
Oh, I love it.
And I don't condone violence, but this message stuck with me for a long time, and I'm not a materialistic person, and so I felt like it was an appropriate song. You are not your job, whether you're under the thumb of a man or you're making your own way. You're missing out, you're being robbed. If you think that who you are has to do with punching the clock, you are not your bank account, whether it's overflowing or it's weighed down with debt to pay. You're missing out, you're being robbed. If you think that who you are has to do with stocks and bonds. Well, sad I even need to sing this sort of song to remind us all the importance of being wrong. 'Cause you are not your khakis. You won't remember your clothes when your body kicks you out. You are not your cell phone, whether your Instagram or your Facebook gets you high. And you're missing out, you're being robbed. If you think that who you are has to do with follows and likes. And you are not sad I even need to sing this sort of song to remind us all the importance of being wrong. 'Cause you are not your khakis. You won't remember your clothes when your body kicks you out. You won't remember your clothes when your body kicks you out. You won't remember your clothes when your body kicks you out.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To 2019.